live from Rosati's.
Sport fans, I'm Michael Sakala.
And I'm Brandon Wicker.
And how the hell are you? So what's going on, my brother?
Jacksonville won.
Jacksonville won. Can you believe that? Did you watch that? I told you it was going to be what, 10, I think it was, I figured, what, a 10-6 game. It turned out about 19-13 or something like that.
Yeah, I watched every minute of it. Because
They're in first place.
that's you know, they're not.
Well, they're tied for first, aren't
No.
they, Giants?
You have to have the Colts and Texans lose for them all to be tied.
Oh, and from what we're getting told by the producer,
Oh, it was her pick also.
that was her
Wow.
pick. Uh-oh. We'll save the producer for the fun when it gets time to basketball season. Come the college tournament, we all know what she did last year with her unbelievable Duke pick, which I still to this day was amazing.
But everybody laughs at Jacksonville, and
Yeah.
they played a good game. Yeah, they were just playing the Titans, but they played good games against better teams.
Well, as we do week after week, you know, we've been we pick a team to talk about, and as I pretty much say every week after week, for those of you keeping score at home, this is not another Dallas Cow segment. What did we bring up?
It could be though.
It could be. Oh, that's coming. That's coming.
There's
Why we're all
no
dressed
reason.
up?
There's a reason why you can't talk about your team. We're not a syndicated show right now.
Nah, but I'll tell you what, that's why I'm dressed up. I'm all pumped the heck up, funking it up, because my boy's coming back. But I want to talk about the 7-2 top of the NFC North Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
And I'm not too sure. You tell me if I'm wrong. I'm not too sure that they're a true 7-2. You know, look out for us football team. I mean, I was looking at their schedule, what they've done so far. They lost week 1 to the Niners. Then they beat Detroit. They beat San Diego. They lost to Denver, and then they ran off 5 straight. But the 5 straight are the Chiefs, Detroit, Chicago, the Rams, and Oakland. Granted, 5 wins is 5 wins. I'll give that to anybody, but I'm not too sure that this team is, oh my God, look out, we're coming to the playoffs and you better be ready for us.
Unfortunately, everything that I had wrote down was misplaced, so
That's right.
I'm just going from memory alone. I looked them up. They are ranked first in the league offensively in rushing. But before you put your cart before your horse, they're ranked 31st in passing. Should I say one washes out the other?
Yeah.
They can run the ball, they can't throw it. Bridgewater, I don't know if it's just due to that they're running so much, or when I started watching the first few games of the season, I was like, what in the world? Oh, the dog, yeah. The dog ate my nose.
So you're going with the dog ate my notes?
Right.
Did that work in school? Because I tried that one time, but the problem is everybody knew me and I didn't have a dog.
He's got about an 84 passer rating. He's got all of 7 touchdowns on the season through the 9 games and 6 interceptions. So
Yeah.
nothing jumping out, you know, that's the reason why they're 31st in passing.
Yeah, when I was looking him up, I seen it, as I called him, Teddy Bridge over troubled water. He's throwing 64%, he's got about 1,800 yards, you're right, 7 touchdowns, 6 picks.
Now, where Mike Zimmer excels, and which is why they wanted him, and I actually wish he would have been my defensive coordinator for 5 years before he took the Vikings job. Might have done something. Anyway, defensively, they're second in points allowed at 17.
Yes.
And they're like top 10 in both rushing and passing. You know, I don't know what their total D comes out to as far as comparison to Broncos and everybody else, but the D is there. That's what Zimmer's known for.
Yes.
And he's got a lot of young talent on the D. That's why I told you at the start of the season, in my division, that's the team I was worried about.
Just going off some of the notes and things, because my dog didn't eat my notes. You're right about the defense at Zimmer. After 2 years, he's built himself a pretty strong, solid defense. I want to say, I always butcher names, as we all know, Lavelle Joseph, as they call him, the man in the middle. And at 329 pounds, he can be wherever the hell he wants. That's a great piece of beef. The defense is, the overall defense are ranked number 2 in the league. You're only giving up 17 points. Total yards, they're number 9. They give up 336. Rushing, they're 16th in rushing, and they're averaging 106 yards. But we got to keep in mind, and what I found was, week 1 they gave up 230 yards to the Niners. But 600 or 8 games after that, they've given,
Right.
no one's gotten over 100 yards rushing.
Just waiting to balance itself back out.
So it's going to bounce out. And I'll tell you what, the offense is right. You know, like I was talking about, bridge over troubled waters. And then we got, you know, Adrian, boy, won't you better. Peterson, you know, he's running the ball. What they're doing is the offense itself, I want to say it's time to
Ladies and
possess.
gentlemen, don't spank your kids, okay?
No, at least not with a stick. But the offense,
years.
I think, is helping their defense out because from what I was reading and whatnot, Teddy, he's becoming as somewhat of a leader of the team, but apparently he has like no emotions. He's like, they call him like the silent killer. But he's kind of ball control. He's you know, he's, what do they call it? What do
Oh,
they-
it's the same thing they blame on Jay Cutler.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
because Teddy doesn't jump up and down like the Miami coach, you can't beat a
So
quarterback?
apparently they like the one guy was saying he'll have a great player, a touchdown or whatever, he just comes off the field and he doesn't really show too much, but they're holding the ball, so he's controlling the ball. He's what is it? He's a managing quarterback, which I think allows the defense to rest, which is allowing this defense to stay fresh and hungry. Like you said, there's a lot of young players.
The boy has a cannon.
Yeah.
They do not have the receiver core for his arm, number one. They have one good receiver, basically.
Yeah, the rookie, my boy
Diggs.
Stephen Diggs. He's not
Now,
a good man though.
they're
I
going
mean,
to go pretty much as far as Peterson can take them. The team that's got a good rushing, defense that stops Peterson.
Yeah. Well, last week
That's-
though, we got a glimpse of the old
Pretty much.
Peterson. He had over 200 yards rushing on the Raiders.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm going with your opening segue. Is this 7-2 record?
No, I truly don't believe if they get to the playoffs, which I'm assuming at this point they will, just because of the
Oh,
record.
yeah. There you
But
go.
then I'll tell you, I looked at their remaining games. Obviously, they got Green Bay this week.
They got some tough ones.
Then they're at Cool Lane because there's nothing hot going on. They got Seattle coming, then they're going to Arizona. They got Chicago. They got the G-Men, and then they finish the year at Green Bay, which that game right there could probably be for the division.
Well,
which would be
that's
very
why
exciting.
this game, Sunday,
game's huge.
is the most important
This
one.
game's huge. They got to
If I don't win that one,
No,
the
you-
last game means nothing.
No, if the Packers don't win this weekend, the hole they're going to be into, that's going to be tough to dig themselves out of. But all in all, I mean, you know what? It's pretty exciting. I mean, last week it was the Raiders, now it's the Vikings. I feel like we're back in the 70s with these teams that are,
Well,
starting to emerge again.
We're talking about teams that have to get it done. Now,
Yeah.
your little babies, your Bengals, they got their first loss handed to them by the Texans.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
gonna
we
rip
talked
that
about,
up.
are you ready for this now?
Go ahead.
Their game has been picked up so it can be put on national TV, and they're going to the Cardinals. They're going to
Yes.
Arizona. This is exactly the kind of game that your little redheaded BB boy who got all mad has to win to put me drinking his Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
They have to fly to Arizona, and they have to beat the Cardinals. Then I'll give you Red Ryder BB gun some respect.
Yeah, well,
All right?
that goes right into our next segment, as we always go into, is what did we learn last week?
Well, we learned that everybody's human, right? Except for
Some.
you're Superman. You know, that's how he's a bandwagon jumper. Bandwagon, all the undefeated teams, he's all over them.
No,
like a blanket.
Well, it's
Now-
getting a little chilly. It was what, 75? I mean, come on, it's
If-
getting cold down here.
If Collins of the Giants, like I told you,
Yeah.
before we were on the air, just catches the ball. He intercepts Brady in his first throw when they get the ball with 2 minutes remaining and the Giants
Yeah.
complete the deal.
No, you're absolutely right. I
So
wonder if-
Gostkowski kicks a 54-yarder to win the game.
Yeah.
Now the idiot in Green Bay, they go through and blow all that stuff through and get the onside kick, and their kicker can't even do a 52-yarder over the center's head.
Yeah.
And it was not blocked by the Lions, by the way.
Well,
Just to show you.
yeah. Well, what
But all these 9-0 teams that you're all in love with, they're going down.
Some of the things that I learned this week is.
Don't forget, we're supposed to comment about how
Yeah.
juicy the Bears are now.
Oh,
4 and
don't
6.
worry, I got that on here. Don't worry, I got that. One of the things I learned is that the Cowboys are 2-7 and scored a total of 6 points last week with the Bucks. But as you can see, I'm all pumped up, ready to go, because I am going to believe that Romo is back to save the day. I have nothing else to go off with, people. What else? I gotta have some
I would
hope.
have considered that game an offensive explosion by Castle, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
6 points?
Yeah,
Offensive explosion.
I mean, do I truly believe Romo can do it deep down? I have a hard time believing, but guess what? At 2-7, if you can give me even a little bit of hope and we can get away from Hardy and his beatings and this, that, and the other, and Dez won't play nice with the media, I will ride the Romo shirt
Yeah, that
team.
would be nice.
Because if he can't pull something off in these next 10 to 11 weeks, this could be his entire career. Will we do it? I don't think so. Now, something else I learned over this weekend. One of the biggest upsets in the past few years happened over the weekend. And no, it's not your Lions going into, or excuse me, it's not the Lions going into Green Bay and beating your Packers. It was Holly Holmes knocking a bitch out
here we go.
in front of 56,000 plus people. This boxer typer was landing blow for blow until she went into the second round and hit a left high kick to Ronda's face and knocked the champ out for good. I don't know if you got a chance to see the highlights or even looked it up in there, but she beat her up. She beat her up pretty damn good. Something else I learned, that the dancing machine, watch him get down, Cam Newton is 9-0. We can say what we want.
9-0, baby.
You know, they're 9-0, and you know, I like the way the dancing. To me, you know, they're all.
You know that hard hat you wear?
Yeah.
Well, put it on the day that he gets licked, and I'm going to give
Oh,
you
he's
one
going to
because
get licked. But what I feel bad for is, you know, all these professional athletes, they're at one time or another, they were a little kid, and they dreamed about one day getting there. He scores a touchdown, big deal, let him dance.
And then you act like an idiot.
But let him dance, who cares? If you don't want him to dance, don't let him score. I don't know. I was listening to Charles Barkley earlier this week, and not that he's like the poet that everybody wants to know, but he said it. We all got an opinion, not that we got to listen to it, because I know there was some mother who called in about her son and how, you know, she got upset with everything he does. Guess what? I see worse things on Disney. Okay, so let's not even get into all
Me,
that.
I have not. And by the way, I think the Barry Sanders way is far superior to the Cam Newton way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just all.
Act like you've been there, you idiot.
And I also learned that Manning got benched, and now is this the end of Manning? Is it time, or as I put, is
No.
it Brock on the clock?
They're going to blame it on his foot and see what Osweiler does in a couple games. I'm sure pending records will get him back before the season's over.
I also learned that
But they have to know what the
surprised.
kid can do.
I was surprised this week that the Cards, because there's a lot of, as I've said in the last few weeks or so, I wasn't sure if they had the it factor. The fact that they won, they beat Seattle the way they did, I'm still kind of believing in them just a little bit. And then lastly,
Something that they haven't done.
no, and then
Go
lastly,
into Seattle and beat them. That's been on
you
their back.
brought it up earlier. I had been and I started to sip the punch, but unfortunately I had to spit it out because I could taste the piss. The Bengals, you're right. You know what? I was all wanted. I truly believed in them, but apparently when they're on prime time, to get beat by the Texans, nah, you're not ready. You're not ready. You can't
Texans
lose to
playing some D.
but still, you can't lose to a team like that. If you're 8-0, you're coming here, you're supposed to be all that. You don't lose to the freaking Texans.
That's why I was talking to you
It's bullshit.
Thursday night. You
No, they're
had the
beat,
Texans.
man. They're beat.
You had the Texans beat the Bengals,
Yes,
which put them in the tie with Indianapolis.
yes.
And then this past Thursday, you had the Jags. You know what else was funny about that game? This is ridiculous. The Jags were in let's see, it was Tampa, Jacksonville, and the Browns. Like 31 games for Tampa, 29 games for Jacksonville, and 28 or 27 for the Browns. Games played since they won back-to-back games. That's the first time Jacksonville has wanted to beat Baltimore
Wow.
on the play that everybody says should have been an illegal formation or
Yeah.
we're trying to spike it. But since December of 2013, that's the first time Jacksonville won 2 games in a row.
Wow. Well,
That's
I mean,
amazing.
when we were texting back and forth with the game, they got a young core, they got a chance. I don't think this year's the year, but
No.
they got a future. The people in Jacksonville, you do have some hope. Unfortunately, you look at your area code, that'll probably get you a little bit depressed, but that's a different story.
They're like the other teams we talked about. They're like the Raiders. They're, maybe they haven't reached that plane yet. But,
Yeah.
but Bortles will be in his 3rd year next year.
Mhm.
They'll get their number 1 pick, that linebacker, which they've never got to use this year.
Yeah.
Next
that's
year's
true.
start, next year's draft will probably be decent for them. So they're getting players together.
Yeah.
That takes a little while.
So, here we go. We're getting into week 11. Who's your pick for week 11?
Well, now that my notes are not here, I guess I'd have to look at what you got going on there. You have a sheet for me?
You can look at mine if you want, as usual. God, I've never had nobody cheat off of me before. This is kind of different.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You commented before on making it through school without cheating off someone else.
Yeah, I've never had somebody cheat off me before. That's about yeah.
Yeah.
This is my picks for this week,
Okay,
though.
okay. Yeah, but it's not a list of the games.
No.
Let me see.
Well,
You go ahead and figure it out. Look.
while you're looking up to see where the dog is and where your notes are, I'll start off with my first pick. I'm going with, and apparently I was notioned and told they won 4 out of 6. We'll make it 5 out of 7. I'm taking the Bears over the Broncos, as I'm going to call them, since Manning's no longer there. I'm also going to say Sanchez and the Genius over the Bucks, 35-7. We're going to see the Butt Fumble's going to score. He's going to get off, and the Eagles are going to get back on him. Then I'm going with the discount double take as the Packers will beat the Vikings 31-28. And it's funny you brought up, I'm going with the little red rifleman will be crying as usual as the Cardinals stop him in the last minute drive to win that game 45-41 in a shootout. And then lastly, the Bills. There's a lot of hype, but guess what? There's no close shave in Gillette Stadium. The Middle Finger Tour will continue as Tommy Boy and the Pats in the second half will blow out the Bills, and that game will be about 38-20 final when it's all said and done. So I got the Bears, the Eagles, the Packers, the Cardinals, and the Pats.
Slung out a whole slew of them, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I ain't messing around though.
I'll go for Marcel Darius breaking that finger Monday night. How's that?
And then
Rex Ryan getting his win.
I don't know. And then I'm going to one last pick. You know what? Because might as well. Because when you're 7-2, the only place you can go is up. I am drinking from the Romo glass. We will beat the Dolphins this week. Romo's going to come out and just have an amazing game. He's going to remind us all, oh my God, thank God you're back. Maybe we'll get lucky. Are we winning? Are we going to run on what, 7? I don't think 7, but I'll take one after another. Not to mention, if we can win this weekend and then we go into Turkey Day against Cam and the Dancing Machine, yeah, I'll be looking forward to that.
And hey, Mouth, is that your pick on that game? Is that in condition with Sue not stepping on his clavicle, or?
Sue can kiss my ass. I think Romo's going to get
Well, if he
rid of the
steps
ball.
on Tony's clavicle, can end the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Cowboys. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of hype at him coming back. And again, when you're 2-7, you got to start looking up. It's either that or we start looking for draft picks, and that gets depressing. Now all of a sudden for Detroit, and I ain't about ready for that just yet. As you said earlier, we're going to become the spoilers, if anything. We probably won't get the play, but we'll at least be spoilers.
But what's funny looking at these spreads is Seattle actually has the biggest spread with Frisco coming to town. I thought it was kind of interesting.
Well, look at the quarterback for Frisco. It's not going to give a big spread.
So I'm going to go, obviously, with the Bills.
All right, you're taking the Bills.
Well, it's a statement game. If the Bills cannot win this game, if you can't play with somebody in your division, you're not going nowhere. So if the Bills want to go somewhere, this is where it starts. Either beat them or you.
You're absolutely right on that. I mean, the Bills have a strong defense. It is possible. It's just hard to go in there and beat him on a Monday night.
Let's see, what else do I want?
Are you even going to touch your Packers game, or you just don't do
I
that?
don't care.
What about, you don't think the Bears are going to beat the Broncos, as I'm calling them?
No, because I don't put the game in Osweiler's hands. I think they get Talib back. If Haley plays, they're going to put enough pressure, defensive pressure on them to sustain it. But I'm not picking it. I don't know.
I think they have. I think, the Bears, I mean, at the beginning of the year, I think it's the Bears fan, they weren't going to have too much hope, and here they are. They've been just fighting all year. You got to love teams that fight.
We'll say coming out of the bye, your hot cold Atlanta takes down the Colts with their 41-year-old QB at the helm. Nothing against Hasselbeck. I like him, but. And let's see. We have another one there.
You don't like the Jets game, the Jets and Texans? Let's see.
I tell you what, if Houston wins that game,
it gets interesting.
And the Colts lose, they're in first, and the Jets are hurting. They're done.
All of a sudden, what is it, Watt? All of a sudden, we're starting praising Watt. Maybe next week we'll talk about the Texans if they win.
Let's see. Let's see if Washington can whack out your Superman.
All right, so there you have it. Last thing I wanted to bring up was, and it's funny you bring that up because that's exactly what I was going to. This weekend in Homestead, Miami, Speed Racer will be taking his last final lap. Looking up some statistics, apparently this is his 24th season and his 797th race. He's going to be sitting 5th on the poll, and this is kind of interesting. When I looked this up, apparently he's one of only 4 guys that got a chance to win this Sprint Cup.
He's never won a good track.
It's Kyle Busch, Harvick, and the underdog Martin Truex Jr. And all you have to do is whoever wins out of those, you don't have to win the race. You just have to be in the lead of those 4. Whoever wins in that lead,
NASCAR rules are stupid.
wins. So Speed doesn't have to win the actual race. He's just got to get him coming in front of these guys. And you talk about a way to go out in style, and so all his haters for an ever and ever can shut the hell up and just realize Speed Racer is Speed Racer.
If you really want to shut him up, he needs to win the race. Hendrick drivers won the race.
I can tell you what, go Speed Racer, go. Come on, Jeff. If you're going to do this, go out like Elway did that time. Go out on a high note. Win at Homestead, win a Sprint Cup championship, and guess what? That's just the way you want it. That's the way a legend should go out. I mean, let's hope that he pulls that one off. I mean, something tells me Jimmy will win the damn race. I mean, he wins everything else, but at least maybe Jeff can be right behind him. Or how nice would it be if Jimmy was winning the race? Let's Jeff take over, and he just marches him right to victory lane. That would be a really nice way to end the thing too. So, what do you think about the race? Who are you taking? You going with, I guess, the favorite, I believe, is Harvick, if I'm not mistaken, right? Isn't Harvick the what? He's
no, Harvick. I would be Gordon, Truex, and the other ones I don't care.
Sweet. So here we are.
We have a big Saturday of college football.
Oh yeah. Who you got?
One of the biggest games is Michigan State, Ohio State, obviously. We talked about this earlier for the show.
Yeah.
It's 14.5 now. This man thinks it's going to happen easily.
I'm not a Buckeyes fan. I'm a Canes fan by choice, and unfortunately the
I'm taking
Utes
Michigan
stink.
State for several
But
reasons.
I just like Urban Meyer. I mean,
At least it won't be 14.5.
I don't think they're going to win by 14.5, but I do think the Buckeyes are going to.
Well, you told me 2 touchdowns, so you're only half
You know
one
what?
out.
I'll stick with blowout Buckeyes. Urban Meyer.
A couple other ranked games that's not going to change
Yeah.
much is LSU, Ole Miss, USC,
Yeah.
Oregon. Now you have Baylor coming around for a second chance after not getting it done against Oklahoma. They dropped to 10th,
They're choking.
and now they're playing Oklahoma State, who moved up to 6th.
Yeah. I don't get the
And then you've got, well, this is for the Big 12 to
Yeah.
slip into. They're crying about not being in the playoffs.
Yeah.
One of these teams, all these teams are Big 12. So you got TCU, who's still 18th, playing Oklahoma tonight.
I don't
And
know.
Oklahoma has moved up to 7th.
Well,
So they have
we
to
gotta-
crack 4 to
Yeah.
get in, you know what I mean?
Well,
If Michigan State were to hit Ohio State below the belt, and
Yeah.
one of these teams win, you could have your Big 12, they'd stop crying, you know, they'd be in the
we
playoffs.
shall see. Now, everybody, I want you to enjoy your Saturday and Sunday football. Get ready in a couple days from now. It's Turkey Day. Hopefully we'll be able to get to you prior to the first cutting. Enjoy your football, everyone. Have a good one.
Good.
All right.